And yesterday's storms hit the Prairie Village area pretty hard, where many older trees fell due to the lightning and high winds. The city continues to deal with power outages as they try to clean up that damage. KCTV5's Mark Paulos is live in Prairie Village. Mark, where the community, they are working through this destruction created by the weather. You were out there yesterday. What's it look like here tonight?
Well, Joe, more than 24 hours after the storm came through the Prairie Village area, the storm damage is still evident here today. Take a look at this tree that's right next to me. We're just off the intersection of 79th Terrace and Belinda. I'd estimate this tree to be about 3.5 feet in diameter, but it did not have the strength to withstand yesterday's storms. Now, thankfully, this tree did not hit a house or land on a car, but that wasn't the case for everybody here in Prairie Village. Now, some of the homeowners that we talked to, they estimate this tree to be about 70 years old, and they're shocked to see a tree of this size on the ground. But if you walk around the streets of Prairie Village, you can see the cleanup effort has begun, but there's still plenty of work left to do. Branches remain all over people's yards, and you can still see sizable trees down on many of the streets. The storm really did some damage here. Many of the people we talked to today told us they are still without power as the community tries to bounce back from the devastation brought on by the weather. They say yesterday's storm was like something out of a movie.
I've never seen a tornado, but I imagine it's close to this. I mean, we drove around this morning and saw a bunch of trees on houses, crushed cars. It was pretty crazy to see.
It's been a bit since we've seen the trees sideways. It looked like a typhoon in Miami, 100%. Like the winds were 80, 100 miles an hour. They were blasting.
Now, as for the tree cleanup, the city says they will coordinate that effort. Right now, they're asking that for the limbs and twigs in people's yards that you bundle them up like typical yard waste, but they do say that they will be coming out with more information about how exactly they're going to coordinate that pickup. We'll have more coming up tonight later in the show, but for now, reporting live in Prairie Village, Mark Paulos, KCTV5 News.
All righty, Mark, thank you very much. Yes.
Insufficient evidence to link a small-town newspaper to a crime. That's what a Kansas prosecutor is saying. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Brad Stevens.
And I'm Sharon Chen. The Marion County attorney is withdrawing the warrants used to raid the newsroom of the Marion County Record and ordering the return of everything that was taken. Computers and cell phones were seized by police officers on Friday. They say they were looking for evidence about a tip for a story that was never published. Hours after the raid, the owner of the paper died. Joanne Meyer was 98 years old. Her son, who works for the paper, says that stress from the raid played a role in her death.
KCTV5 has team coverage tonight. Investigative reporter Angie Rocono talked with an attorney about what happens next. But first, we begin with KCTV5's Grace Smith, who's in Marion. Grace, we hear the paper released its first edition since the raid just today.
Yes, Brad, that is correct. And here it is. It reads, seized but not silenced. In fact, moments ago, actually, I spoke with Eric Meyer, and he tells me he is thankful for all the support they've received around the country. Now, he tells me it is a waiting game, as any second now they could get what was taken back during the raid. Now, as we reported to you on Friday, Marion police raided the Marion County Record and the home of its publisher and owner, Eric Meyer, and his mother, Joanne Meyer. Now, today, the Marion County attorney decided the raid was not the appropriate procedure in trying to get information. Now, I asked Eric where his mind is at right now, and this is what he has to say.
My mind right now is we're not going to change a thing about what we do because we didn't do anything wrong, and we may have done something right. In some cases, if somebody wants to bully you, it must mean that they don't want you to have something. We don't know what it is, but that makes you even want it more.
And Eric tells me nothing can bring back his mother, but he says he believes she would be happy at this. Reporting live in Marion, Grace Smith, KCTV5 News.
Certainly a difficult situation for all.
A local father and youth pastor faces attempted murder charges involving his wife and his children. 41-year-old Matthew Lee Richards is charged with 5 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of aggravated arson with risk of bodily harm. Right now, his wife and 2 of their children remain in the hospital with stab wounds. 3 other children have been treated and released. Police say Richards is responsible for all of it. He is currently being held on a $5 million bond. KCTV5's Mark Palos is live outside the home and has been gathering more information on what happened. Mark, what are the neighbors saying?
Angie, neighbors told me they awoke just before 4 a.m. to the sound of fire trucks coming through the neighborhood. Now, we do have some video from one of the neighbors showing those trucks rolling in here just before 4 a.m. Now, when authorities got on site, they quickly put out the fire. However, they had to take 7 people to the hospital, including Richards, the suspect. Shawnee PD says that Richards is the father and husband of the victims. Again, Richards is charged with 5 counts of attempted murder, as well as 1 count of aggravated arson with the intent to harm. Tonight, we have learned that Richards is a children's pastor at Crossroads Christian Church, which is also here in Shawnee. This evening, in a statement, the church said, "We are aware of the situation involving our children's pastor, Matt Richards. We are gathering more information. We'll have a full statement at a later time." Now, Crossroads Christian Church is not that far from here. It's located near Johnson Drive in Renner, also in Shawnee. They announced that they will not be live streaming their Sunday services due to what they call the sensitive nature of the situation. For now, reporting live in Shawnee, Kansas, Mark Palos, KCTV5 News.
Unbelievable. Mark, thank you for that report.
A big party just got started in Kansas City's Crown Center. Boulevardia is back for its 8th year. KCTV5's Mark Palos is live to tell us all about the fun, and it looks like Mark is about ready to take off on a ride. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Brad. Yeah, what an assignment this is. Here we are on the Ferris wheel at Boulevardia, and we are about to take the ride up. Sorry, I got to get a pun here. I'm taking my live shot games to new heights as we are up here. We get our photographer, Andrew Tran, to look to the right there. You can kind of see what all is going on out here as Kansas Cityans come out here to celebrate the best brews, cocktails, and food trucks that the city has to offer. Right there is the main stage where there will be music until about 11 p.m. Now, earlier today, we caught up with some of the event organizers out here, and they say this event is all about showcasing the best that Kansas City has to offer.
I think that's what's so fun about Boulevardia is we really call it Kansas City's party. It's a little bit for everyone, and I think it's really great to be downtown looking at the skyline with the Western Auto Building and the downtown skyline right behind us. It kind of just gives you that energy of love, and we love where we're at, and we love our city.
Yes, it certainly does. Here we are on the top of the Ferris wheel. If you'd like to come out here, there are still tickets available. They are costing about $55 a pop at the gate. Also, if you are interested in parking at Crown Center will be free after 6 p.m. And another great option is you can take the KC streetcar as the exit that gets off at Union Station, drops off just a short point from where we are right now. We're going to have more live coverage coming up on KCTV5. But for now, reporting live on the Ferris wheel from Boulevardia, Mark Palos, KCTV5 News.
Landing on the ground just in time. All right, thanks, Mark.
It was a special reunion today at St. Luke's. NICU nurses who spent countless days helping babies survive in their intensive care unit were able to meet their patients all grown up. Hundreds of former NICU babies were joined by their parents and siblings at the hospital's annual reunion. The event celebrates just how far these patients have come in the past 3 decades. We spoke with the Middleton family, who've raised thousands of dollars for March of Dimes. Their son Deacon was cared for at the NICU.
We've seen some of the nurses that have taken care of Deacon, and just being in this environment with other families that have experienced the same thing that we went through, it's really humbling.
I've been here 9 years, and so to see patients that I had a month ago all the way up until 9+ years ago, it's just really rewarding and exciting because you see them for such a short amount of time, and then to see them grow up and be happy, functioning little toddlers and children, it's really rewarding.
Now, this event was a long time coming, as it was the hospital's first reunion since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic.
But here's something you can smile about. The Royals are pitching in to help kids literally smile in the metro. They teamed up with Team Smile for a day of fun and free dental care. More than 200 students showed up to get free teeth cleaning. Dozens of dentists volunteered. They said they were glad to put in the extra work to have a little fun.
At a big dental tailgate party, and the kids love it. We get the mascot to come out, and the players will come out, the cheerleaders will come out, and the kids just feel and believe that dentistry and their smiles are an important asset to their life.
And Team Smile says they plan to join forces with the Chiefs for another event this fall and are planning to work with Sporting KC and the Current in the future.
Well, KCTV5 is your school authority. Although class is back in session, the community is still helping out local students. Today, local group KC Divas hosted a back-to-school giveaway at Oak Park. The group, consisting of 22 local women, gave away free haircuts, 70 backpacks, and other school supplies. They even hosted a cookout for the kids.
We do this every year, and this is the first year we did food with it for the kids, and it's very important to this group. And we just come together, and we love giving back to our community. We volunteer at the shelter for the holiday season, Thanksgiving, and then also back to school.
Hey, baby. This was the 6th year of the back-to-school giveaway.
People will collect tons of trash to help clean an area of the Missouri River tomorrow. KCTV5's Emily Rittman boarded a boat today, scouting the spots that need the most help.
Crews walk for miles today looking for locations that need cleanup help. They will then map those locations so volunteers tomorrow know exactly where to go.
We're scouting about a 12-mile stretch of river.
Volunteers will be ferried by MMR boat captains to pre-scouted locations along the riverbanks to pick up trash. Every volunteer spot filled up, reaching capacity for tomorrow's event.
So we kind of look at the flow of the river and kind of judge at a higher river level, like where that trash is going to end up getting caught at.
KCTV5 News rode along today as the Missouri River Relief's crews walked along the banks to select approximately 20 sites where volunteers will remove trash and debris.
The biggest thing, of course, is single-use plastic, a lot of styrofoam cups. We kind of find the quirkier things like refrigerators, a lot of tires, and every odd and end you can think of.
This is a community of people that want to immediately help our waterways and make them safe for wildlife.
At each stop, crews take note of any hazards and select spots that are safe for younger volunteers. If a spot is littered with glass or sharp metal, they note that adult volunteers should be sent to those locations.
A lot of the trash that you see on the Missouri River isn't from people driving up to it and throwing it in. It's the trash that you see on the sidewalks and on the sides of the roads that get into the stormwater system, get to a smaller creek, and eventually the Missouri River.
Our rivers are everything. Rivers are life. Our rivers are like the veins that lead to the ocean.
During a typical Missouri River relief cleanup, they remove between 4 to 6 tons of trash. They invite volunteers to join 4 times a year. A 40-yard dumpster is ready to remove trash that is pulled from the river tomorrow.
Keeping this river clean up here means it's a healthier river for those that live downstream as well.
If you'd like more information about how to get involved in this cleanup effort, we'll have a link for you over on our website, kctv5.com. Reporting from Kansas City, Emily Rittman, KCTV5 News.
5's Betsy Webster has been watching the fire crews. They make progress all afternoon into the evening. She joins us live now from the scene in the industrial area of the East Bottoms. This is just east of I-29, south of the Missouri River. Betsy, how are things looking out there tonight?
Well, you know, a couple hours ago, I saw some just little hot spots. But if you look behind me right now, can you see that sort of orange glow in the sky? I got up closer just a few minutes ago to take a look, and those are flames. So something has reignited. You can see the smoke. If you want to pan down there, Andrew, you can see it coming through the fencing. And then, sorry, we're going to move right back up again. That you see in the sky, that is not clouds. That is smoke. So still quite a bit of smoke in the air, and firefighters are still here. They will be working through the night to keep things from reigniting.
Can't believe how much smoke there still is.
Stephanie Satterland talked to us 6 hours after shooting this video from her front porch. She could feel it.
You know, I love heat, but that was a little intense.
It's well over 3,000 degrees in some parts of that fire, okay? I mean, it's very intense.
So intense that several fire trucks had to be towed after the fire was under control. The shiny red paint charred and tires melted. The KCFD said some areas exceeded 3,000 degrees.
The whole yard is one gigantic flame for us. So when I say that, I mean the flames are shooting up as high as 100 feet in the air.
Marilyn Strode and Lynn Glavin work next door and were evacuated.
We heard a lot of sirens. We thought, well, you know, the police chase or something was going on.
She stepped outside to find this. She and her coworker were stunned.
Like, holy
crap. I never experienced anything like this before.
As the flames and smoke died down, you could see the damage. This is the front of the factory and warehouse where it started. This is a brand new Escalade Marilyn and Lynn's coworker just bought. Another coworker drove off with melted taillights as ladder trucks continued to shoot water on the pallet yard, along with firefighters on the ground.
God bless firefighters, because if it wasn't for them, I mean, the whole lot would have been lost.
Oh my God, if it wasn't for them, I don't know where we'd be at.
Yeah, and although we are seeing that one spot reigniting where that orange glow is, and there are still fire crews here, it is far fewer than were here at the peak of all of this. The fire department said they had about 160 firefighters here from multiple agencies rotating throughout the time to fight this fire. Reporting live in Kansas City, Missouri, in the East Bottoms, Betsy Webster, KCTV5 News.
It's going to continue to be a long night. Betsy, thank you. Now,
tonight, the First Lady was in Kansas City to raise money for her husband's re-election campaign. At the same time, Republican candidates for president are facing off on the debate stage. Frontrunner Donald Trump is not there. Before the fundraiser here in Kansas City, Jill Biden made a stop at the Harry Truman Presidential Library and Museum for a lesson on the importance of civics. KCTV5's Betsy Webster followed along.
The First Lady met teachers from 3 area school districts. They talked about how they use the library and museum to give their students insight into government. One teacher talked about the role of the executive branch, then gave the First Lady a little ribbon.
As the chief executive, of course, President Biden would have welcomed the chiefs to the White House, and I knew First Lady Biden was an Eagles fan, and I just had to go there just to kind of display, like, you know, Chiefs pride.
Having an authentic educator, fellow educator, it means a lot to be like, okay, I know she understands where we're coming from, and it's nice to kind of feel that connection.
One of the programs offered puts kids in a mock decision room. They use declassified documents from the Truman era and play the role of President Truman and his top advisors, making big decisions about things like Korea or desegregating the armed forces.
The longest part of her visit was here in the White House press room. Not the real one, obviously. It's a replica of one from the Truman era. She got to talk to about 30 or so sophomores at William Chrisman High School. That's the alma mater of Harry and Bess Truman, class of 1901. Though it was Independence High then.
The students ended the decision room program
Levi with the BBC.
With a mock press conference. The First Lady watched as 3 President Truman stand-ins took questions from their classmates playing reporters.
I realized that it takes a lot to be in the government or be like a president, because you have to read all these documents and answer all these questions, and you never know what's coming next.
I want you to take the critical skills that you've learned through this opportunity. And when you hear something, don't just take everything on face value. Research it. Look into it. Look at other people's points of view so that you can really look with a critical eye.
She encouraged them to volunteer for campaigns, whichever party they align with.
It was really encouraging. It was super cool to be able to meet her, and her demeanor was just so friendly. It was just like, when I shook her hand, it wasn't like I was speaking to a high-ranking person in the government. It was just a neighbor.
The First Lady ended her visit at the gravesite of Harry and Bess Truman, where she left flowers from the White House cutting garden. In Independence, Betsy Webster, KCTV5 News.